Node 2105.
Alright, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net. My name is Kimberly, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar is my call sign, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm your net control operator for this net. This is a roundtable general discussion and rag chew net, and all calls should go through the net control station. This net meets every Sunday at 2 a.m. Coordinated Universal Time. Before we begin, do we have any emergency or other priority traffic? If at any time there is an emergency, please say break, and we will assist you. This net provides a safe place for members of the LGBTQIA+ community, as well as their allies, to hang out over the airwaves. This net, as well as the network it's hosted on, is open to all licensed amateur radio operators. No membership is necessary, and we also welcome third-party traffic as well. Speaking of memberships, the Pride Radio Group provides an inclusive environment for all to learn, experiment, and enjoy radio communications by encouraging, promoting, and supporting diversity with the wider radio community, sharing our experiences and learnings with the community, and celebrating and embracing Pride on the air. For more information about the Pride Radio Group and how to join, plus gain access to our Discord chat room, head on over to prideradio.group. That is prideradio.group. Or check out Victor Kilo 3 Papa Romeo Golf or Kilo 3 Papa Romeo Golf on QRZ. Membership is free and all are welcome, regardless of who you are and who you love. Unless you're one of those folks that just simply does not like the LGBT plus community, of course. This net is being relayed on the various nodes, top groups, and reflectors of the Pride Radio Network and affiliated systems, including All-Star, Echolink, IRLP, DMR, YSF Reflector, WiresX, M17, NXDN, P25, D-Star, Peanut, direct via USRP, as well as various RF repeaters around the world, and it's also streamed live on Broadcastify, Icecast, and via my YouTube channel, which can be found by searching for my call sign, Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar. For more information about how you can connect to this network, or for our live stream links, visit prideradionetwork.com. That is prideradionetwork.com. And finally, you can also track and follow this net by downloading NetLogger on Windows, Linux, or Mac OS from netlogger.org. That is netlogger.org. NetLogger is a fantastic piece of software that allows you to log into the net and view a list of call signs in real time and be able to follow along with the net. For Android users, you may download a third-party client called Netscraper instead. That is Netscraper. It's a more basic NetLogger client that is feature limited, but still allows you to see a list of call signs. And for you iPhone users out there, if you know a program that can connect to a NetLogger, please let me know. Send an email to me about that. I'm good on QRZ, and I will add that to the preamble for next time. Alrighty, before we begin this evening's net, do we have any news, announcements, or other items of business? If I can talk, do we have any news, announcements, or other items of business for the net and the Pride Radio Group?
I will mention something that's come up in the last 24 hours or so, VK3JD.
Alright, yeah, go ahead.
Just there's been a bit of interest in FreeDV over the last day or so, especially with this weekend being the Free DV Activity Day for the month of February. And there's been a couple of people expressed interest in sort of playing with that mode. There is relevance to this network in that I do have a facility that was set up to work mainly via All-Star or USRP to allow audio-based modes to be relayed around the world, originally for SSTV, but it'll work equally well for FreeDV or any of the other audio-based modes. That's on All-Star 21994, and if you want to be a permanent part of the network, USRP links can be offered to interested parties. And of course, demodulated audio, as in decoded audio from FreeDV, speech that is, could potentially be relayed through this network. There has been a bit of discussion on technical and legal issues through the NetOps channel, KJ7 OMO with the group, VK3JD.
Alright, copy that. Thanks for the information. And that's some exciting news right there. Hopefully our net could be relayed via HF without any problem. And speaking of news, I do have a couple items. First of all, the N3VEM, November 3 Victor Echo Mike repeater, is currently offline due to some serious hardware issues, but the sysop for that repeater is working on getting the issues resolved, and hopefully within the next few or so days, those issues will be resolved. So hopefully folks on that repeater will figure out the other methods of getting on this net. And for the next announcement, I've decided to allow access to the analog reflector client, which I named the web transceiver. So for those of you who don't have any other way of connecting, to the network, you can use the web transceiver. But by default, transmit is disabled for everyone. So if you want to transmit on that, send me an email on my QRZ, which I'm good on there, and I'll give you a transmit access to that. But you're welcome to use that for receive anytime. So web transceiver is now available on the PrideRadioNetwork.com website. All right. With all that out of the way, let's take some check-ins to the net. Let me reset, and then I will start calling for check-ins. All right. Let's start off with mobile short on time or in and out stations. So if you're mobile short on time or just want to pop in for a quick hello before popping out, please come down with your call sign slowly, twice, and phonetically, and if you wish, you may include your pronouns as well. This is Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, she, her, pronouns are she, her, and I will be taking check-ins for mobile short on time or in and out stations.
this is KC3 BIU, Kilo Charlie 3, Victor India Uniform, Phoebe, and I'm currently driving, so my reception may go in and out, but I should be home in about 20 minutes, and then hopefully I'll be on a bit more permanently to the network and be able to interact a lot more. So for at least the short term, I'll just be listening. Thank you. KC3 BIU, back to net control.
Kilo 2, Golf Papa Uniform, Victor Kilo 2, Golf Papa Uniform, just popping in for a little bit.
All right, Kilo Charlie 3, Victor India Uniform, and Victor Kilo 2, Golf Papa Uniform. Do we have anybody else who is mobile, short on time, or in and out? Alrighty, looks like that's it in that category, and I have also checked in Victor Kilo 3 Julia Echo Delta as well. Alright, Kilo Charlie 3 Victor India Uniform, we'll toss it over to you. Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar. Alright, I think Phoebe did indicate that she was going to be back later on, so we'll send it over to Victor Kilo 2, Golf Papa Uniform, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
At control, this is VK2 GPU, Victor Kilo 2, Golf Papa Uniform. Name's Ray, for those who don't know me already. Thanks very much. It's good to be back in the net. It's been a while. Still recovering from COVID at the moment. And unfortunately, my home internet has gone down, and my ISP won't send anyone out until I don't have COVID. Unfortunately, we kind of need the internet to do things like order the COVID test and order our shopping off the internet, but, you know, can't do much about that. So I'm going to be having some fun today trying to see if I can get my smart modem, which can do 4G, up on a mast outside of the house if I can't get a signal anywhere in the house, which is, yeah, that's going to suck. Anyways, back to UKG7 OMO. This was CK2 GPU.
Alright, VK2 GPU, KJ7 OMO returning. Well, that just sucks. That sucks big time. Internet outage plus COVID, and nobody from your ISP will fix your internet until your COVID is gone. Oh my goodness. Well, hope you get well soon, and hopefully you get that 4G modem working. But hey, at least you've got the VK2 ROT repeater connecting you to us. So, yeah, that's awesome. Alright, VK3JED, you're up next, KJ7OMO.
Hey, g'day everyone. Chat this one. And gee, M17's actually pushing through the descent of me transmitting next to it. I'm monitoring myself and the whole net using the very latest version of SDR++ and a Pluto SDR over M17 RF. It's working really well. if you're going to do it, grab the nightly build of SDR++ from their website or their GitHub. But yeah, it's got to be the nightly build, not the release. It's got quite a lot of improvements and it works extremely well. So that's been my bit of tinkering this morning, and very interested in playing around more with FreeDV. I will set up some sort of gateway, may hook up something to the baseband reflector, the All-Star 21994. So any waveform that comes down can come out on RF, and look at doing that as in SSB mode, probably on VHF initially. HF's going to take a bit more manual playing around, because when I do get it up, I'll be using it for all sorts of things, analog and digital. I would like to have an experimental gateway feeding voice into this network too. So before that, got to get some antennas up. That's the big issue. And a heads up, if you want to catch up and chat with me on the net, this is literally your last opportunity for about 2 months. I'm in competition until April the 2nd. I may be on, so I'm in competition until April the 1st. And Easter, I might be doing community stuff on Easter Saturday or Sunday. I used to do it Saturday, so yeah. Flag April the 2nd is the next time I'll probably appear on the net, except for brief appearances between. Yep, and I just got the alligator. So back to you, Kimberley, KJ7OMO with the group VK3JD.
All right. Lots of stuff there in that transmission to unpack, but yeah, copy that. Well, hopefully your competitions will be awesome and you win all of them. I'm pretty sure you can. Anyways, no worries there. And we'll be rooting for you. All right, we're at the bottom of the list. So now let's start taking check-ins from anybody anywhere. So anybody anywhere, if you'd like to check into the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net, all I need from you are your call signs slowly, twice, and phonetically. And if you wish, you may give us your pronouns as well. This is Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, she, her, and I'll be standing by for any additional check-ins from anybody anywhere. Alrighty, anybody, anywhere, if you'd like to check in to the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net, please come now with your call signs slowly, twice, and phonetically.
Yeah, VK3, MAG, Alex here, just listening for the net today.
Already, we have Victor Kilo 3, Mike Alpha Golf, got you down. I think there was another station trying to check in. Do we have any additional check-ins? Alright. right, well, that sounds like a random key up there. All right, VK3 MAG, welcome aboard the net, KJ7OMO, over to you.
Yeah, VK3MAG here. Sorry about that. I'm having some issues with my Pi-Star at the moment. It's my first net that I can hop on with my own equipment finally. I got my hands on a hat and set up my Pi-Star. I'm still running through some bugs with it, but it's nice to finally be on and be able to listen. Not a huge amount of news for me, other than I was at the Ballarat Hamfest a couple of weeks ago and managed to get my hands on a ICOM 208H, which is a dual band radio that I've mounted in my car now, and it's also got a data port on the back, so I've actually made a custom Bluetooth TNC so I can run APRS on that as well. It is a bit of a crude setup, but it seems to be working quite well. I'm still working on figuring out some noise sources from the power input, but I'm quite happy with how it's been going. It's quite nice having APRS finally, because the local digipeater here is a bit deaf, so getting through it needs a bit more power than my 878 can provide. Over.
All right, VK3MAG, KJ7OMO returning. Well, that is quite awesome. Congratulations on the radio and the APRS setup. And yeah, that's pretty cool. I've tried getting into APRS here on my FTM 300D, and I did got everything set up for APRS, but for some reason the radio is refusing to decode any of the packets, and I'm not sure why. I was able to send packets out, but decoding them is another issue. I'll have to look into why that radio is not wanting to work on APRS on the receive side. But, anyways, but yeah, congrats on the radio once again. Alright, we're going to toss it back up to the top. I believe Phoebe was going to be back later, but we'll check with her anyway real quick. Kilo Charlie 3, Victor India Uniform, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
This is KC3VIU. Yes, I actually just pulled into the driveway, so let me set my park brake and turn off the lights. Okay. I just had a very exciting day, and I'm going to give the repeater a pause here, because I'm not sure if I want to. So I gave a speech to my counselor's group of friends and stuff to talk about ham radio and how a fun hobby it can be. And I was just a little concerned about going into the more rural part of Pennsylvania and, you know, it being trans. And I'll give the repeater another. And everything went swimmingly. They absolutely adored me, which is always fun. And the talk went very well. There were tons of questions. I kind of shifted over to the question and answer session rather quickly into it, and then just went back and make sure I covered everything I had in my outline. And I had a blast, an absolute blast. And I got to do this again sometime. Okay, back to net control, KC3VIU. All right. For now.
Alrighty, Kilo Charlie 3, Victor India Uniform, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar returning. Yeah, awesome sauce there. That's quite awesome that you were able to give that speech out and of course not be ridiculed for being trans, because I know in that area they don't really take too kindly with folks like us. But that is awesome to know that that everybody was friendly to you, at least for the most part, anyways. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some new hams out of that. And yeah, congratulations on an awesome speech. All right, Victor Kilo 2 Golf Papa Uniform Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar.
Golf Papa Uniform, hopefully the internet sort of resolves itself. It kind of goes out from time to time, just normally only for very short periods of time, so fingers crossed it comes back and I don't have to do much. 4G does appear to be working setup. I've actually got a mobile signal showing as a yellow light as opposed to a red one, so that's good. About getting about 5 megabits down, which is going to be inadequate for working most of the week, but we'll see. I can probably dig out my modified modem, which I've got downstairs, which I've put some SMA connectors on, and I have a MIMO antenna that I could get up potentially. But I'm not sure if it's going to work with the old one modem or not. We'll see in time, I guess. What else? It was really awesome, VK3 MAG, your little TNC you built. Got me kind of wanting to put one together at some point too. Anyways, that'll be it for this round. Net control, this is VK2 GPU.
VK2 GPU KJ7 Oma returning. Well, hey, some 4G signal is better than nothing. At least you'll have internet. Fingers crossed that your modified modem will work and will give you a much better data throughput. But hey, if 5 megabits is the best you can do, then so be it. At least you'll be able to connect your DMR hotspot to that, and yeah, be able to join us on the net without so much path noise between you and a repeater. But hey, at least you're still copyable. We could still copy you. I just have to concentrate really hard on on your transmission there to be able to copy you through the noise. But at least we do copy you. All right, VK3 JED KJ7 OMO, over to you.
Yeah, well, going through the list, been keeping up with Alex's progress on the APRS, and I second the comment about the local digipeater. It is quite deaf, and I often get the second one that's about twice the distance away or more from parts around here, better than I do the main one. Hear the main local one well, but yeah, it's deaf as a post. The more distant one's actually quite sensitive, but requires a better path purely because of the distance, so not accessible from everywhere. Once it gets my antennas up, I'll put up a fill in for the northern part of town. Doesn't help Alex that much, but will help anyone around where I am, including handhelds. The HT just can't get the Digi. I've tried it myself. Phoebe, congratulations on the speech, and really wonderful to hear that you were well received. So, I hope that does lead to many new hams. And for Ray, bummer about the internet and COVID, and of course everything has to conspire to not work really well. So she's having a field day over there. And I do believe you've had some pretty ordinary weather in Sydney too overnight, looking at the news this morning. Those storms completely bypassed us. It was a dry change down here, nothing at all. and the weather's already headed back up into the 30s. It just dropped it from 40 to 30. That's all it did. 33 today, I think we're expecting. Currently, just under 30. Anyway, and that DMR hotspot, Alex, is sounding really, really good. Very crisp audio. KJ7RMO, the group VK3JD.
VK3JED KJ7OMO returning. Yes, indeed, I second the comment on the real crisp audio. VK3MAG's got some really darn good audio coming in through the system. And speaking of Digipeater-like things, I'm contemplating on setting up a WinLink gateway on VHF or UHF for my area, because I look at the list. I wanted to do a little WinLink on the VHF or UHF, and you know what? There is no node anywhere near here. I mean, the nearest node to my area is at the other side of a mountain and is completely inaccessible. It's like at the, maybe a 4 to 6 hour drive from here at the other side of the state of California. So there's mountains in the way, and therefore I could not get a hold of that node. So I'm not sure if I want to, but I'm thinking about setting up a WinLink node for my area for VHF, UHF, but I just don't yet have a radio or even an antenna I could dedicate to that. But maybe one of these days, if I ever get more equipment, I might set up a WinLink thing here, even if I have to, make a dodgy antenna and use a Bofang for that. Anyways, we'll see what happens. We'll toss it back to Victor Kilo 3, Mike Alpha Golf, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar.
Yeah, VK3 MAG, thanks for that. Good to know about the audio quality. I'm really happy with this 878 that I picked up. It seems to be a really nice little radio, especially for the price. As for the APRS and setting up a Digipeater, I've actually got a UV5R sitting on my desk that I've slowly worked on tearing the casing apart so I can actually wire it up to a Raspberry Pi to be a Digipeater as well. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it yet, whether I'm going to mount it on the house or use it something when I'm out camping, mounting it on my car. But it'll be a nice little project and something to keep me busy. I seem to be getting a lot more into APRS these days, and I have VK2 GPU to blame for that after we met up a few months back for Ailstorm, and I had APRS issues just using my phone. And now I've gone down the rabbit hole of getting everything set up for mobile and on my handheld, and now I'm getting something set up at the house. One little rabbit hole to go down, especially the old equipment to work with too. I've actually got a PNC that I picked up at the Ballarat Hamfest as well that is a MFJ one signed 1992. Which is well older than me, so that's always fun to work with. And I did manage to get it working with APRS on my IC820, but that radio needs a bit more work still because I don't have a proper digital plug for it in the back. But yeah, I'm enjoying setting everything up so far, and I'll keep you all posted. Back to you.
Alright, awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. Gotta love Ray there for sucking you into the rabbit hole of APRS. If I could find a proper software that would use a sound card for APRS, then that would solve a lot of my problems that I have getting the built-in APRS of my radio to work. But so far I have not been able to find a proper sound card client other than an Android app on the phone, and I would rather be using my computer instead, since I'm here at the shack most of the time. But yeah, hopefully one of these days I'll find a sound card based APRS client that will do everything that I need to do. Alright, we're at the bottom of the list, so let's see if there's anybody else out there wishing to check into the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net. All you need to do is to spit out your call sign slowly, twice, and phonetically, and you may also include your pronouns if you like. This is Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, she, her, and I will be standing by for more check-ins to the nets.
VE2 Tango Oscar Juliet.
Alright, Victor Echo 2 Tango Oscar Juliet got you down. Do we have anybody else out there wishing to check in to the net at this time? Alrighty, hearing nothing else, Victor Echo 2 Tango Oscar Juliet, we'll toss it over to you, Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar.
Okay. Yeah, this is Tonya from Quebec, VE2 Tango Oscar Juliet. I just wanted to be there for the net. I just have one comment about something I heard about APRS. Glad to be part of the Pride Network. Half of my repeater setup is dedicated to this net. And yeah, I'm very glad about it. It's working flawlessly. The comment I had to post here tonight, because it's night here in Quebec, it's about a successful sound card that works with discriminator tap audio for APRS. I'm talking about a Sound Blaster USB external sound card. I used to drive this unit for DMR decoding in the 2013. I was using a Kenwood radio with a soldered wiring harness, custom wiring harness, from a discriminator tap that goes right to this sound card module. It's a Sound Blaster one. Maybe they're hard to find in 2023, but I do have one at home that is picking up dust. So if someone needs it for any experimental whatever purposes, I'm just giving it away. Otherwise, I can share the model number, and from any online Sorry, timer. Whatever. Yeah, I do have a successful way to decode digital from audio to whatever computer or maybe Android device. Yeah, okay. Long short story. Mike, back to you, Kimberly. This is Tonya, Victor Echo 2, Tango Oscar Juliet.
Alright, VE2TOJ, KJ7 Alma returning. Alright, thanks for the information. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Alright, Kilo Charlie 3 Victor India Uniform, Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar. We'll toss it back over to you.
KC3, VIU. Yeah, since we have a good number of people on the net tonight, and I heard mention of SDR, does anybody have, like, I have the one USB stick that I've been playing with now since, 2000, I'm pretty sure it was at least 2011, but anyway, but I understand that it's, one of these things where you can get a fully SDR transceiver, which doesn't surprise me, but has anybody heard anything positive, negative about them for what would otherwise be considered, I guess, a somewhat mobile environment, something you would attach to your notebook and then, use, not necessarily for like field day, but perhaps, let's call it portable, but yeah. So at any rate, whatever information anybody has on such things, I'd be interested in hearing. Back to net control, this is KC3VIU.
KC3VIU, KJ7OM returning. Yes, SDRs. I do have several of them. The cheap Chinese kind. But modified by New Elect to have slightly better components, but yeah, there's still a cheap, Chinese SDR nonetheless. Most of your, if not all of your cheap Chinese SDRs, don't get me wrong, they're pretty decent little pieces of hardware, and you can have a lot of fun with them, but unfortunately, they are so easily overloaded by strong signals. And any strong signal you get will basically cause the signal to appear like it's duplicated all over the place, or even distorted all over the place. And these cheap Chinese SDRs have such a hard time dealing with that kind of thing. And oh yeah, if you have a pretty strong AM or FM broadcast station near you, well, good luck hearing anything with that. But other than that, other than those issues, yeah, they are fairly decent little things. Now, if you get into the more expensive SDRs with much higher quality components and much better filtering, then yeah, you wouldn't have any of those issues, and yeah, you'll get quite a lot of enjoyment out of it. And there's even some of them that'll let you transmit as well. So yeah, I say SDRs are pretty decent, and if you're just looking to get your feet wet in SDR technology and get started with it, if you just want to explore it before you commit to buying anything expensive, then yeah, those cheap Chinese dongles will actually get you started, just to give you a taste of the technology and all that stuff. So yeah, let's see if others have any more comments regarding SDR stuff. Anyways, We'll toss it back over to Victor Kilo 2 Golf Papa uniform, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
Very much. AJ7 Alpha, this is DK2GPU. Before I continue, I just want to quickly check if I'm coming better on a different antenna. So right now I am coming through the Yagi. Right now I'm coming through the Diamond. GPU Yagi antenna. GPU Omni antenna. Is this one any better by any chance?
It sounds like you are coming in slightly better on the Diamond. The Yagi, your audio was a little bit lower, and it sounded like you had a bit of fading in and out. But on the Diamond, you were coming in fairly good. But regardless of antenna, you still got quite a bit of path noise in your background. Probably because you don't have direct line of sight of the repeater or something. But yeah, you are slightly better on the Diamond antenna. I could hear you a little better on that one. Back to you.
I'll keep it on the Diamond for now. That's a little bit hard. I actually received slightly worse. It's pretty copyable anyway. I just want to make sure that if I'm getting it a bit stronger, that's better for everyone else. I can still copy. But I really do need to actually properly tinker with the position of this Yagi and maybe get it a bit higher still, but that's... I move these ones around because I have the 2-meter Yagi set up for SSB, so I spin that one around from time to time, and the 70 centimeter one that's vertical is often the same mass, so I always is constantly on the move whenever I've been playing around. But so VK3GAD mentioned earlier on people getting some interest in 3DD. I got all set up for that yesterday as well, and might have a jump on and play later on and see how things go. Might do a bit of CW in the next week. I have a bit of a high noise floor at home, but I can't exactly go and work portable at the moment unless I stay completely away from people. And also, I just don't really want to be going and setting up in the heat and being exhausted while sick. So I'll just have to operate from home for now. Anyways, this is a CK2 GPU. Back to net control.
Tango Oscar Juliet for comment.
Okay, comment station, go ahead. Comment station, go ahead.
It's my turn. I wanted to say something about the cheap SDR. There are ways to deal with very strong signal and not to get a particular signal distorted. The way to fix this issue is just lowering down the RF gain and deactivate the automatic gain control. And if you're dealing with very strong FM broadcast signal, there are cheap inline filters sold online to get rid of the FM broadcast band. Back to net control. This is Tonya from Quebec VE2 Tango Oscar Juliet.
All right, thank you so much for that information. Yeah, we'll definitely give that a try and see if that will help things. All right, Victor Kilo 3, Juliet Echo Delta. We'll toss it over to you. Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
Yeah, okay, Kimberly. And I have played a lot with the cheaper SDRs, the RTL based. Definitely the higher quality ones like the RTL SDR E3 are the ones to go for because that gives you frequency stability and slightly better RF performance. But as others have pointed out, the main limitation is the 8-bit analog to digital converter. But as Tonya pointed out, there are ways around that problem, filtering out strong signals, or if you've only got certain bands of interest, put a bandpass filter around those bands to keep strong out-of-band signals away from it. People are using them for ADS reception, and they either buy a dongle with a pre-installed 1090 meg bandpass filter, or they add a bandpass filter in front of the SDR dongle. Either way works really well. It's all about making sure there's no very strong signals that are going to interfere with the unit. Keep the strong signals away from it. In fact, the biggest challenge in my experience has been keeping my own signals away from it. But sometimes there are ways, like I've used an RTL SDR V3 for a 6 metre receive as a test, and by putting that on the 6 metre leg of a triplexer, it completely solved any issue I may have had with strong 2 metre or 70 centimetre signals and FM broadcast for that matter. So yeah, with appropriate filtering, they actually do quite a good job and are good value for money. So I still recommend playing with them. Just look at the analog circuitry in front if you need a little bit of performance, and then tweak the gain manually sometimes works best. If you know what the signal level is going to be, or if you need a wider range, just play around with the AGC settings. Generally, it's got my alligator again. So yeah, generally the analog, the RTL AGC is not real flash, but the analog AGC can be helpful. Or better still, the SDR software often has AGC that works quite well. So yeah, I've played with them a bit, and I find them valuable, so much so I'm actually looking at setting up a dedicated receive disc cone with a distribution amp to put multiple receive-only devices, several of which will be some of those cheap dongles. And yeah, APRS, it is a rabbit hole. I got a TNC3, bought it for M17, found it so useful on APRS, that's all it spends its time doing in the car. So yeah, I've got a bit hooked on APRS myself, and of course that's how I got to meet Alex in person. The discovery that through APRS, when I gave my APRS coordinates, that we were actually fairly close together, led to meeting down at one of the local lakes, and we should catch up again sometime too. Probably once my weekends get back to not insanely busy, i.e. April or later. Anyway, KJ7OMO with the group VK3JD.
VK3JED KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, copy that. The problem I have in my area for those cheap Chinese SDRs is I got several things that's overloading it. I've got a few nearby broadcast FM signals that are screwing with it. I've also got a few nearby broadcast AM transmitters also screwing with it. and there are quite a few, several repeaters located in the commercial frequency area. For these companies, commercial companies in my area have really strong DMR or P25 or whatever repeaters up. And law enforcement also has a pretty strong DMR repeater up that's also screwing with my SDR. So I got a lot of things screwing with my cheap Chinese SDRs. And yeah, I'll have to see if I could find a a bandpass filter that will allow both the 2 meter and the 70 centimeter ham bands through and rejecting everything else. And also some of the other ham bands that I'd like to check out besides 2 meters and 70 centimeters. But yeah, the problem gets particularly bad around 70 centimeters, and it gets particularly bad around the HF area as well. So yeah, those are the issues I'm facing with my SDR here in my area. Alright, VK3 MAG, we'll toss it over to you, KJ7OMO.
Yeah, KJ7OMO, VK3MAG. I've got nothing but praise for the little RTL SDRs. Granted, I've never had to work with the with anything overloading them. The closest station I've got, I think, is about 30 or 35, 40 Ks out. It's a 5 kilowatt AM, and but that's not really close enough to cause any issues. But that was what I was using while I was waiting on my license to come through, was actually one of the RTL SDR V3s, and I was actually using it on 40 meters to listen to FT8 using VK1 TTY. Has a really nice fork of the OpenWebRx, the web interface for them, that has FT8 decoding and APRS and all of that, and it's set up in Docker, or I've got it set up in a virtual machine, and that was really good just to get started, and something that I'd like to get set up a bit more permanently later on. But they're really nice little dongles for the price. I was just using for 40 meters. I wasn't even using a proper antenna. I was using that little dipole that comes in the kit with them, and putting it on a little camera tripod that I had lying around. It wasn't the best, but I was getting some decodes, and that was my start into the rabbit hole of FT8 as well. There's a lot of fun to be had with those, I'd say. But yeah, I haven't had to experience any of the filtering that needs to be done on them, because I've been lucky enough to live away from any really strong transmitters. That being said, I would be interested in setting up mine in a bit more of a permanent solution. I've actually got sitting behind me half of a cubic quad, I think the type is, kind of a spiral looking ones. And I'm going to be mounting that on my roof at some point, and I want to try using it to pick up some satellites if I can. And if that works, then I'm going to feed that antenna into my IC820 and try and work some satellites, because that radio is literally built for purpose. But this is going to be my last over. I've got to duck off and do some stuff, and also make a quick config change to my Pi-Star so that I can get it listening on the group properly, because it timed out right in the middle of Tony's transmission. So I need to set up a static talk group for that, but that shouldn't be hard. So yeah, this will be my last over. Back to you. Yeah, over to you.
Alright, VK3MHE, KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, awesome that you're able to have fun on that without the noise of an urban environment. But yeah, I also got my start in SDR technology before becoming a ham. Yeah, I was, that actually got me going in radio, along with what we call CB and GMRS. Those two as well also got me going. And yeah, I mean, despite their little issues there's they're still really great devices, and I do like them. And along with an HF up converter, they do make for a decent backup HF receive. In my case, anyways, when my 718 bit the dust, and I was having to use my super def Ten-Tec Omni A to get back on the air again. But now I have a micro BitX version 6 as my receive radio now, which is far better at receiving HF than the up converter for the SDRs are. But for a while, the SDR was able to get me back onto HF again. Alright, well, thanks for stopping by the net and hanging out with us. I shall say 7-3 to you. And we're going to go ahead and toss it to the next station on the list. Victor Echo 2, Tango Oscar Juliet, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
Okay, thanks for the mic back to me. And y'all, sorry for my English. Still have to practice more often. I was listening religiously. Yeah, there are a lot of information coming into my mind from my little radio right now. A lot of diverse, a lot of diverse subject or part of conversation about different things in radio communication. You guys are talking about up converter, which is very interesting. I'm more interested about down converting Wi-Fi signal down to 900 to be able to monitor the Wi-Fi ISM spectrum for my clients looking for QRM on the Wi-Fi band. I'm more interested too about down converting satellite signal down to 900 for listening to the sky. I really love ham radio, and we have a lot of different opinions on different things, and I'm listening to you guys very religiously. Okay, I'm back to the net and all ham fellow on the air right now. This is Victor Echo 2, Tango Oscar Juliet, setting up my new MacBook Air. QRT, listening.
Alright, Victor Echo 2, Tango Oscar Juliet, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar returning. Well, awesome sauce. Glad that you are enjoying the net, and I believe you said that you were going to be Quebec Romeo Tango QRT, so we'll go ahead and mark you as being checked out. Thanks for hanging out with us, 7-3 and all the numbers, and we'll see you again on the next one. Alright, we've reached the bottom of the list, so let's see if there's anybody else out there wishing to check in to the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net. All I need are your call signs slowly, twice, and phonetically, and if you wish, you may include your pronouns in your transmissions as well. This is Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar. Name is Kimberly, pronouns are she, her, and I'll be standing by for more check-ins to the net.
Kilo India 6 Whiskey Whiskey Papa Kilo, KI6WPK. Bill in San Francisco.
All right, Kilo India 6 Whiskey Papa Kilo got you down. Do we have anybody else wishing to check into the net at this time? All right. Do we have any additional check-ins to the net at this time? All right. Hearing nothing, we'll toss the mic over to Kilo India 6 Whiskey Papa Kilo. This is Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar. Over to you.
Well, good evening to you. Good evening to the net. We had a nice sunny day in San Francisco today. And I've got some chicken pot pies in the oven. And me and the other half are going to sit down and eat pot pie and watch some TV. So that's what's exciting in this house. Back to net, KI6WPK.
Nothing's more exciting than enjoying some pot pie with your significant other. Awesome sauce. All right. Well, we're gonna toss it back up to the top. Kilo Charlie 3 Victor India uniform. Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar.
This is KC3VAU, Phoebe, and yeah, I've loved the discussion about the SDRs. I actually have two of those little I forget what the name of those things, Newelec devices. I decided I really couldn't be without one wherever I was traveling, and yeah, they're sweet. And I sent a link to you, Kimberly, about the FM trap that I use because I live roughly, I used to live roughly 1.3 miles away from a transmitter that covers an area of like a 75, let's go 60-mile diameter. And I get the feeling the Q on the coils in their transmitter is not really that tight because they scatter all over the spectrum. I mean, they're up in the high police bands. They're low. They're just it's miserable, absolutely miserable. I'll be right back because I think the routers the computer's going to time. Like to be preemptive on that KC3VIU, and I actually have a set of Sony infrared speakers that run exclusively on infrared. Like you hook them in, and there's a powered device. It receives a signal, then broadcasts the signal out across the room via infrared. And when I just plugged in one of those speakers without the other device being plugged in, the thing started playing that radio station. And you talk about frustrating. I mean, I have to put noise filters and chokes and everything on the power supply. I mean, the AC power supply. So, at any rate, no, I actually was kind of more interested if anybody uses them for transmitting and if they've seen any fragility or had any success with the transmitting side of it. Just a thought, kind of playing with some ideas. Back to net control. This is KC3VIU.
Alright, KC3VIU, KJ7 Alma returning. Alright, well, thank you for that link. I will definitely take a look into that. That would at least solve the FM broadcast issue, though I'll still need to locate a filter that will block out the AM broadcast band from roughly 500 kilohertz up to roughly 1.7 megahertz. I'll have to get that area blocked out as well. But yeah, this is definitely a good start. And yeah, I'll look into that. Thank you again. And alright, we'll toss it over to VK2 GPU KJ7OMO.
7OMO, this is VK2 GPU. I'm probably just going to go clear for now. I'm about to have my groceries arrive, so I need to go and get that all put in the fridge, but I will come back to you listening afterwards. So 73 for now. This was VK2 GPU, back to net control.
Alright, VK2 GPU, KJ7 Alma returning. Alright, well, 7333, all the numbers, and thanks for hanging out with us, and feel free to check back in anytime. Enjoy the rest of your day, of course. Victor Kilo 3, Juliet Echo Delta, over to you, KJ Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
Okay, Kimberly, and yeah, for Phoebe, you need different hardware for starters. The RTL SDR is a receive only. I do have a Pluto SDR from Analog Devices. A fair bit more expensive, but it does have transmit capability. I was using it to monitor M17 earlier. I have transmitted on it. I find the SDR console program works really well with it for analog transmissions. I was able to access my own repeater on FM with it. For instance, that worked quite well, and yeah, I could dial up whatever frequency I wanted. SDR Angel will do M17. Although the M17 encoder in SDR Angel is very quirky, and there's way too much adjustment available to the user. It's the default settings are wrong, and it's also easy to shoot yourself in the foot, electronically speaking. But yeah, you will need different hardware. The Hack RFs is another common one. I have heard good things about the Chinese, the relatively cheap, I think about 160 US Chinese Hack RF clones. I have heard good things about those in terms of performance. So yeah, you will need different hardware, and there's some software that does support the transmit side, and of course you'll need your own filtering and amplification to get it to beyond around the house, beyond the hotspot levels. Hang on a second, just reset. Yeah, one other thing is I'm not keen on the way a lot of software works. It all makes the assumption that there's going to be a user sitting in front. There's not so much for unattended infrastructure type operation. For using these things in repeaters and transponders and that. Not that it, although to get the RF performance up, you'll need heavy filtering for some of those applications, but still it would be nice to have automation available, but that's purely in the software. There is for receive, like there's plenty of receive for instance, but for transmit, there's the ones I've seen are all GUI based, which is nice as an end user, but yeah, not done, but there's a lot more focus on receive and the cheap RTL receive units. And Tier 2 load disappeared. And I hope Alex gets the free DMR option set up. I sent them across Discord. KJ7OMO, the group BK3JD.
KI5MOG.
All right, VK3JED KJ7OMO returning. All right, awesome. Lots of stuff there. I did hear another station try to break in. Did you want to check into the net? KJ7OMO over to the station trying to break in.
Yeah, this is Kilo India 5, Mike Oscar Golf, Wes in Tulsa. I'm just curious, I've got you guys on a simplex frequency here. Do you have a node checked in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area? KI5MOG.
All right, not that I'm aware of, though anybody could just connect their nodes and listen in that way, and which is awesome for us, because the more nodes we have connected, the merrier. Alright, well, we'll get you checked in, and we'll call you in a little bit. Kilo India 6, Whiskey Papa Kilo, over to you. Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
Was that me? KI6WPK.
Yippers, that was you.
Well, you rattled off the call sign real quick, so I didn't catch it. Yeah, I have a whatever you call it, no elect SDR dongle, and those things are a lot of fun to play with. Not very expensive either. And with mine, I bought an additional Fallon for the front end of it for long wire antenna, so that matches the long wire to the SDR. And I've recently gone crazy with SDR receivers. Oh, by the way, the No Electric can't transmit. I think you mentioned transmitting. It's receiver only. But anyway, I've gone nuts with SDR receivers. I'm collecting a bunch of them. And my absolute favorite is called a Malahite. Malachite. M-I-L-A-H-I-T. Malahite. Made in Russia. And that thing is amazing with a color screen and a very wide band reception. So I'm playing mostly with that now. It's an amazing little SDR receiver. Anyway, back to net. KI6WPK.
All right, awesome sauce. Awesome sauce indeed. We're going to toss it to Kilo India 5, Mike Oscar Golf, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar. Woo, what do you know? Got a check in from Oklahoma. Never got that before. Kilo India 5, Mike Oscar Golf, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
This is KI5MOG. Yeah, I was just what the traffic was that I was hearing, because it's in our normal simplex frequencies over here.
Yeah, copy that. Well, I see on the dashboard that that the node got connected over to our network, so somebody must be in control of it and listening in. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, no further traffic. Just thought I'd check in and wave hello. KI5 MOG, I'll be clear.
All right, well, a wave hello back to you and 7-3. All right, we're at the bottom of the list, so let's see if we have anybody else out there wishing to check into the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net. All I need from y'all are your call signs slowly, twice, and phonetically. And you may also include your pronouns in your transmissions if you wish. This is Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, she, her, and I'll be standing by for more check-ins to the net. Why would they be connecting two of their nodes to our system? Interesting. Not that it matters any.
This is KC3VAU. I'm sorry, Kimberly, did you call me? I was tuned out for a moment.
No, but I'm fixing to. KC3 VIU, KJ7OMO, over to you.
KC3 VIU. KC3 VIU. Yeah, I didn't mean to jump in. I was kind of tuned out for a moment, and I heard the channel go silent, and I'm like, oh, did I miss something? Yeah, it was about an hour and a half drive, and I stopped and got some. I went to stop at the bookstore, and then stopped and got some groceries and stuff, and so I've been going nonstop since noon today, and it's no wonder my brain's a little like, hey, give yourself a rest. But yeah, like I say, I've been playing with those little SDR receivers for a long time now, and just kind of looking forward to the thing about the transmitter. I had heard of the what did I just call up on my computer here? The Hack RF. I forgot about that particular brand. But yeah, I understand software can be temperamental in those things. I mean, it's all you've got to drive the thing. It's just that simple. It's all in that. And then, of course, the UI is whatever anybody chooses to make it, as opposed to, as you say, like industry standard things. You know, okay, this knob here, this knob there. You're going to need these controls, and yeah. But geez, a number of things I've learned from using the SDRs. In the area, it's amazing the amount of traffic that's on the pager data stuff. Just unreal. I had something in, no, I can't find it there. Anyway, I was going to go ahead and send it back to net control. This is KC3VIU.
KC3VIU, KJ7OMO returning. I don't have any comments at this time, so we'll toss it straight over to Victor, Kilo 3, Juliet Echo Delta, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
Yeah, with a QSO in Discord going on the side with Kimberly. Up on the same very subject of SDRs. It's everywhere here. I said, I think the cheapest entry point's probably the Hack RF clones. The Chinese ones will do the job. The Hack RF does share some of the limitations of the RTL SDR, namely the 8-bit analog to digital converters. Got a different receive chip, I think, but the ADC is still only 8-bit, which means there'll still be overload issues. But yeah, and of course the transmitter's 8-bit, so yeah, just definitely got to watch the filtering there as well. Anyway, so yeah, there we go, and having a little chuckle over the comments coming through on Discord. Yeah, as for user interfaces, often for me, simple is better. I mean, yeah, I prefer to have the fancy stuff like waterfalls and spectrum scopes and that sort of stuff. I'd rather that data be available via a UDP port or something, so it can be accessed remotely, and the SDR core just be a daemon that runs in the background and handles all the and talks to the RF hardware and any other signalling like push to talk and receive signal, etc., etc., that need to be put into a system. And yeah, front end for me is better done over a network, because I often want to look at the front end on a separate system where I might want to run the hardware, but that's all up to the developers, and not being one myself, I have to rely on someone else to come up with something that suits what I do. So far nothing does yet, but so anyway. I timed out just as I was handing over KJ7RMO with the group VK3JD.
Yeah, copy that. We'll toss it straight over to Kilo India 6 Whiskey Papa Kilo Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar. Hopefully I said the call sign slow enough for you. KI6WPK KJ7OMO. Alrighty, it looks like that. They are enjoying some time with their significant other. Alright, we're at the bottom of the list, so let's see if anybody else out there would like to check into the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net. Please come down with your call signs slowly, twice, and phonetically, and if you want to, also your pronouns if you wish, and we'll get you checked in. Let's see who else is out there. Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar standing by.
VE2 Tango Oscar Juliet back. I'm done with the MacBook because of my eye pain.
All right, Victor Echo 2 Tango Oscar Juliet, you've been checked back in at your previous spot. Anybody else out there wishing to check in at this time? Victor Echo 2 Tango Oscar Juliet, we'll toss it over to you. Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar.
Yeah, thank you. This is Tonya VE2TOJ back. I'm gonna use more my ear because my eyes are giving me hard time because of a lupus flare-up. So I have to go easy with the computer. Okay, after listening to most conversation tonight, Nat, it was talking about SDR, and I love it. And I heard about a way to filter out and have a precise signal pickup on a narrow, a very narrow. Okay, I'm talking about a front end for SDR. I believe there a way to build a custom front end driven from a microcontroller with several filters. It would be more like a real radio front end. When you turn the VFO, the front end synchronizes on a narrow, whatever. It's just an English translation issue, okay? But there are ways to build a custom-made front end for SDR. Let's talk about it. Do you know something about it? Me, I don't actually, but that's interesting. But Mike, back to you on Net Control. V2TOJ.
All right. We have traffic from Discord from Phoebe Kilo Charlie 3 Victor India Uniform. She says, my voice is hurting. Please give my 33s and 7-3. Please. All right, Phoebe. Well, hope you feel better, and I shall say 33 and 73 to you, and I will check you out. And as for you, Tonya, VE2TLJ, KJ7OMO, I have no clue. We'll have to better explain that on Discord. And we're at the bottom of the list, and we have additional check-in from Phoebe saying, love you guys, love the nerdy, geeky talk, and all the great Pride stuff. All right, well, we love you too. Okay, we're at the bottom of the list, so wait a moment. We were at the bottom of the list. We checked Tony back in. We were supposed to go back up to the top, but first we'll see if there's anybody else out there real quick wanting to check in. Was there anybody else out there wishing to check into the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net? Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar standing by for any more check-ins. what's the name again? Jared, Victor Kilo 2 Whiskey Alpha Yankee. I saw you on Discord. Are you wanting to check into the net? VK2WAY KJ7OMO. I guess not. VK3JED, back over to you, KJ7OMO.
Okay, and cheers to Phoebe and also Tonya. And yeah, I'd probably need a bit more detail on Tonya's question, because the way it decodes language-wise, as said, is, can you do it? Well, yes, you can do anything. That's sort of a bit of an obvious answer. So, yeah, whether there are any other constraints or conditions that were implied in the question that weren't expressed, I don't know. Of course, you can build anything you like if you've got the time, money and engineering expertise. But yeah, I'd need a bit more on the scope of the question to be able to answer it any better than that. And yeah, what's the battery on the laptop? It's gone way down to 19%. So I'll have to plug that in soon. It's only been an hour and a half. Yeah, maybe running the Pluto drained it. Anyway, that hasn't been running for the last half hour or more. And I don't know if Jared's there, but if you can hear us, hello. If not, I'll continue helloing on Discord for them. And yeah, what else is news here? Well, we had the World Pride Park run yesterday. I was run director, so I didn't actually run or walk, but I was chief in charge of the rainbow flags, it seemed. We had quite a few out, and yeah, it was a great day all round. Lots of colour, lots of kids. Someone had given the kids, various kids out there, some coloured chalk, and they decorated the path in no time. It looked really, really good. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of things about. Anyway, yeah, all good nerdy geeky pride stuff going on here today. Yeah, what was I going to get back to? Yeah, I've got a few other things on that I was sort of tinkering with in the background when I can focus, little things. Yeah, a little idea with the link box is a cloud repeater / node. Something I started working on the other day, but ran into a technical issue, all stars being annoying. So, yeah, looks like I can't run All Star and the repeater on the same box because All Star wants to grab all the IPs. Unless I kill Echolink. Yeah, I've got to kill Echolink, so I've got to run an instance that doesn't have Echolink to do that. Or find a way to emulate the connecting functionality with external scripts. So yeah, I need an All-Star expert too. So yeah, lots of geeky stuff to play with here. And of course, eventually, at some stage, antennas, but I'm not as good with the mechanical side of things. Which limits my local RF a bit, and HF, of course. Anyway, KJ7OMO, the group VK3JD.
VK3JED KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, copy all that. I don't have much to say at the moment, so We'll toss it straight over to Victor Echo 2 Tango Oscar Juliet Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar.
This is VE2 Tango Oscar Juliet. I was lost in my thought, thinking about so many projects, but yeah, the issue is more about time, money, and engineering skills, and probably about my language barrier. When I chat on Discord with y'all, it gives me the opportunity to think twice about what I'm gonna send as a text, and brings correction to my my language mistakes. So of course that'll be easier to talk about very complex project on Discord. This is a net, and my timeout timer won't allow me to over talk about brainstorming. So thanks for this great net. Have a nice night. I don't know if there's something precise you would like to talk about, but Mike, back to you. Net control, this is VE2TOJ in Quebec. Brainstorming, lost in my mind.
VE2TOJKJ7 Alma returning. Yeah, copy that. Yeah, I always, I have a similar issue too, where I would be talking, and then all of a sudden my brain would just stop working, and then I lose my train of thought. It happens like all the time. So I feel you there. All right. Let's see if Kilo India 6 Whiskey Papa Kilo is still with us. Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar.
Yes, I'm popping between the kitchen and the radio here, so I've missed a lot of it. If there was any more SDR talk or questions, I can answer them. Otherwise, I'll just go back to monitoring when I can and finishing heating up my pot pies. KI6WPK.
All right, no worries, and enjoy the pot pies. All right, we're at the bottom of the list, so let's see if we have anybody else out there wishing to check in to the Worldwide Pride Net, which also goes by the name Pride Radio Grip Net. Got 2 names for the net. All I need are your call signs slowly, twice, and phonetically. And if you like, you can also throw your pronouns in there as well. This is Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, she, her, and I'll be standing by for more check-ins to the net. Alrighty, hearing nothing, we'll toss it back up to the top. VK3JED KJ7OMO.
Yeah, okay, Kimberly, and it looks like I've sort of got the gist of Tanya's question reasonably closely, and yeah, it's all time, effort, and expertise, and abilities, and resources. So yeah, anything's possible. It's just a matter of how much time and money and other resources you've got to throw at it. So yeah, there we go. And yeah, and what else? Yeah, I'll try and avoid the alligators. Starting to run out of things to talk about, and yeah, hopefully Phoebe's still listening. We'll chat on Discord, of course. Same with Tonya. If you're around, feel free to ask questions in the technical or other channels on Discord, and answering. Language does add an additional challenge, but I think the meaning did get across through the language barrier, it seems, from all the responses. And Bill, just a little bit of follow-up SDR, but not a lot. I think the sort of subject sort of run its course. And no, we still haven't reached 30 degrees Celsius here. It's still only 29 according to the app on the computer. Anyway, KJ7RMO with the group VK3JD.
VK3JED, KJ7RMO returning. Yeah, copy that. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. I mean, you know, you can do pretty much, you know, whatever you want with those SDRs. It just takes a lot of time and effort and patience to put together what you want from those things. But yeah, it can work. I don't see why not. VE2TOJ KJ7OMO, back to you.
Yep. VE2TOJ. Okay. Knowledge belongs to everybody. And from trial and errors, if we work all together, we will find solution to our issue, maybe in a year, maybe in a couple months, on very different projects. I love technology, I love science, I love nature, whatever. Okay, we'll discuss more about complex thing on Discord, and if someone wants to get in touch directly with me, y'all very welcome. Just ask Kimberly on how to reach me. I have I don't remember the username, but she's got it. I use Telegram, Messenger, and Discord. Facebook, not anymore. And Instagram, not much. Just only when I go down to Montreal. Because in Montreal there are a lot of interesting events going on there. Okay. Hopefully I'll add some more friends on Discord. This is V2TOJ with my language barrier that I'm gonna improve. Just give me a chance. Thanks.
Alright, not a problem. With anything, language does take time to learn, and eventually you'll get there. No worries there. So far you're doing fine. There's no trouble there. Alright, let's check back in with KI6WPK, KJ7OMO.
Well, I'm done here. It's dinner time. Enjoy the net, everybody. KI6WPK.
Alrighty, not a problem. Thanks for stopping by on 7-3 and enjoy your dinner. Alrighty, let's see if there's anybody else out there wishing to check in. All I need are your call signs slowly, twice, and phonetically, and also your pronouns if you want to include them. Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, she, her, and I'll be standing by for more check-ins to the net. Do we have anybody else out there wishing to check in at this time? Alright, we're going to toss it back up to, Tony, VK3JED, KJ7OMO.
I love your comment on Discord about the Oklahoma nodes. They must have scared them off, Kimberley. Put a bit too much rainbow down the pipe. Yeah, bit of a rainbow weekend for me. Here with the park run stuff. Yeah, in fact, it was such a success. Even if it doesn't come back as a global or national event next year, we're actually looking at still doing one ourselves around this time next year. So, yeah, at the Pride Park Run was a very popular event, and yeah, I'm down to monitoring Discord on the phone. The laptop had about 5 minutes of battery left, so I thought I'd better put it on the charger before it died, and having to restart everything. So, yeah, it's in the other end of the house on charge. Missed a little bit of Tonya's over as a result of having to wander out and back, but yeah, you're doing pretty well with English, Tonya, but practice will make better. But my benchmark is if I can understand you and what you're saying, what you mean, that's enough for me. Anything more is just anything more, but as long as we can understand each other, that's all that matters. And I spent nearly 20 years in Melbourne, which is a very multicultural city with a lot of fairly recent immigrants from all over the world, so getting used to different accents and different levels of English proficiency, not a problem. I've had many years practice. Anyway, KJ7OMO with the group VK3JD.
VK3JED, KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, copy that. It's not surprising that those Oklahoma folks disconnected. I mean, they are in the Bible Belt after all, and they are also very conservative over there, and they don't take kindly to us LGBTQIA plus folks very well. So it's not surprising to see them disconnect. I guess we were too gay for them. Oh, well, I was hoping we could spread the rainbow and convert them into gay-loving people, but I guess not. Oh, well, better luck next time. And, yeah, copy that. Regarding the, other, regarding the language there, yeah, I've spent so much time not only, working DX on ham radio, but also talking to other people online from foreign nations whose English aren't all that great. I'm pretty much used to it. Oh yeah, and my mother's English is quite bad, but I'm used to it. So yeah, most accents I have no trouble understanding. To an extent, anyways. To an extent. There are some moments where I do struggle a lot understanding, but for the most part, I understand fairly well. The different accents that are out there. We'll toss the mic back to Victor Echo 2, Tango Oscar Juliet, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
Okay. Thanks for throwing back the mic. Thanks for throwing the mic back to me. This is V2TOJ. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I wanted to change conversation subject. Maybe we read a new ham code for non-binary or trans people, trans folk. It would be 78 if it's allowed. 73, 88, a mix of both would be nice. Okay, have you ever heard, y'all, about two-spirit people? Two-spirit culture. It's more about native people, which I really like them in a way, in most way. I love their culture. I know there are Aboriginal people in Australia, which is kind of very interesting. Back to earth, back to nature, back to simple life. SHFT, when catastrophic events like tornado or earthquake or whatever happen, you can go back into the bush and just go fishing, looking at a fire pit, and getting lost into your mind, meditating. That's what most native people and Aboriginal people do most of their day, getting rid of technology sometimes. I talk too much. I'm overthinking, but that's good. My brain is very active some day. Sorry about that. I hit the timeout timer. But maybe you understand what I mean. I was talking about taking some time off screen, pulling on the plug, and going outside, doing something else. You don't need money. You have to spend time doing some other thing other than technology and brainstorming and just liking the moment. Yeah, There are times for work, there are times for hobby, and there are times for resting our mind, and enjoy the life overall. Okay, that was my comment. What do you think about Two Spirit and my new code, 78? Mike back to net. This is V2TLJ.
KC3VIU comment.
Alright, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar returning. Yeah, I looked up the different codes, and it looks like 78 is not a valid code, though we could claim it. We could claim it and try and make it a thing. Though it'll probably be a while before everybody catches on. And as for Native American Aboriginal folks' way of interpreting trans people as being two-spirit, that's an interesting concept. Though two-spirit, the way from what I understand, Native Aboriginals believe that trans people have two spirits in them, a male spirit and a female spirit, and that's how they interpret trans people. Though, yeah, it's kind of a complicated thing for me to describe. But for me personally, I do not see it the way they do. I mean, for me, I am, 100% a woman, and that's that. I'm just stuck in the wrong body. That's all. So for me, two-spirit would not be the correct term to describe who I am. Though I, of course, will still, respect that point of view. If that's the way they want to do things, then, hey, that's totally fine. It just does not describe me personally at all. But regardless, it's still an interesting concept. It is an interesting concept, no doubt. Comment station, go ahead, Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
Yeah, this is KC3VIU. I'm going to comment. I definitely agree about outdoors, but I also believe that that's why some of these radios are portable. Hi, and sort of not hi. Back to net control. KC3VIU clear.
Yeah, totally. And with our radios, we could transmit the rainbow far and wide. We're here, we're queer, and we're coming after your bigotry, says Tony in Discord. I love that line. I might steal that, and next time I encounter a doggone homophobe or a transphobe on a ham radio or elsewhere besides ham radio, I'm gonna tell them exactly that. Oh, that would be a fun thing to tell them. Anyways, We're at the bottom of the list, so let's see if there's anybody else out there wishing to check into the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net. All I need are your call signs slowly, twice, and phonetically, and if you wish, you may give us your pronouns as well. This is Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, she, her, and I'll be standing by for more check-ins to the net. Alright, do we have anybody else out there wishing to check in at this time? Alright, we'll toss it to VK3JED, KJ7 Armo.
Okay, Kimberly, and yeah, well, I should have, as I said, I should have said copyright might be worth something, but no, go on, have a bit of fun with it, yeah, and yeah, contrary to multiple stereotypes, I will catch you, and I can inflict a lot of damage. No. Yeah, it's all in good fun. That's the main thing. And as for Aboriginal people, I have known a few Aboriginals, as in the Australian Indigenous, from various nations and tribal groups around the country. And yeah, all I can say is the more they teach me about their culture, the more respect I have for it, and the more amazing it is. Over here, they actually had quite a sophisticated culture. They did have a continent-wide system of trade and communication. They may not have had our technology base as we know it, but their own technology, being far more in tune with nature, was still quite impressive, as was their knowledge of the environment, which we are still many decades, if not centuries, behind them on understanding the environment here. I don't know how the Australian Aborigines view gender diversity. I haven't had a chance to speak to anyone who knows about that. I have read a little on Native American, and there is a lot to like about the philosophy. Certainly, there seems to be a lot less of the rigid, westernised gender identity and roles that have been forced on us for so long. There seems to be a lot more accepting of what's there, but I could be wrong, of course, because everything is second and third hand. Is of interest. I also like to look at the alternative ways of seeing the world. I think that's my ADHD side expressing itself, and looking down different roads that maybe otherwise I wouldn't have considered. Anyway, KJ7RMO with the group VK3JD.
VK3JD KJ7 OMO returning. Yeah, copy that. Well, this has turned into quite the interesting net, no doubt. Quite a fun one indeed. Victor Echo 2 Tango Oscar Juliet Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar.
Yeah, it's me. Okay, VE2TOJ. Almost in the middle of the night. Well, you should know, y'all, that according to what I am, after a deep introspection into my past, my mind, and my present, I found out that into non-binary, gender can be fluid. And according to two spirits and non-binary into fluidity can express and experience gender dysphoria and gender euphoria. Both. That means they can fulfill both gender roles. And yeah, that's a thing. We exist, we are here, we are queer, and get used to it. I think what I just said has born into the 80s from drag queens and stuff like that into the USA and Montreal queer people. And since I went to Montreal for a 2-week trip last summer, they teach me what really happened underground there. And this is it. Some of us are non-binary into fluidity, and all queerness is valid. As much as dysphoric trans, euphoric trans, timer. Okay, just to make a quick tale of my trip to Montreal. That trip to Montreal triggered a very deep introspection into my mind, and I went back into my ancestry. I'm not native, but I understand myself better now, and I found out that I'm half and a half. Just like the cream for the best coffee ever. Mike, back to the net. Thanks for this net. This net is saving my life, is life-saving to me, and bringing me back into ham radio.
Yeah, copy that. Well, this is, a quote that I like to, tell bigots every time they want to mess with me. And I will quote this right now. This is something that I like to say to them all the time, so here it is, and I quote, "Trans women are women. Trans men are men. Non-binary people exist. All gender identities are valid. We are here. We are queer. And we are here to stay. So get used to it." Yeah. And unquote. Yeah, that's the thing, that's the motto that I live by all the time. And occasionally I will, add a little something extra to that model, which basically says that if you don't like it, well, too bad. That's your problem, not mine. Sometimes I will add that to the motto. But yeah, that's the motto that I live by all the time. And if they don't like it, too bad. But yeah, regardless, all gender identities are, of course, valid. Anyways, we're at the bottom of the list, so let's see if we have anybody else out there wishing to check in to the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net. Don't be shy, people. Pick up your mics and say hi. And spit out your call signs slowly, twice, and phonetically. And you may also include your pronouns in your transmission if you wish. Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar. My pronouns are she, her. And I will be standing by for more check-ins to the net. Alright, hearing nothing but crickets, VK3JED, KJ7 Armo.
Yeah, well, this has been a good net, a very interesting one today, and yeah, I sort of straddle a lot of the fences here, because I'm sometimes feel like the token cisgender male here. So yeah, I've never had to deal with the gender identity struggle. I've asked a question. It's just that the answers sort of come back fairly boring and conventional. So heterosexuality on the other hand, is very different. Yeah, that's the one I struggled with for many years, and particularly as it was the early 1980s when it really hit, and there were no role models back then, and I didn't fit the stereotypes, so it sort of left a lot of baffling questions pretty much until I left home before it was all resolved. Certainly would have loved to have had access to a net like this. There was no internet to Google. It was only through bulletin boards a year or so after I left home that I started to really make contact with the community. The developing LGBTIQA+, as we call it over here, community. So, yeah, it was a lot slower process with access to a lot less information and a lot more misinformation. So it's been a slow evolution, and I've never been, until recently, never been one to sort of go out and get in your face, but always stood my ground quietly, and I think that's, I've always been a bit of a quiet revolutionary, just stand my ground and just say, well, it is what it is. Yeah, it's great to hear this net doing what it's meant to do, and also listen to everyone's different stories. Yeah. Got these alligators are getting bad. KJ7 OMO with the group VK3JD.
VK3JEDKJ7 returning. Yeah, totally copy that. And it is very important to have a network like this to help marginalized folks out there to, not only have a safe place to do fun ham radio activities on the air, but also to have a voice in the ham radio community, because, ham radio is unfortunately full of bigoted folks who don't like our community at all and would, stop at nothing to make our lives miserable. So a network like this to give, marginalized folks like us an outlet is a really awesome thing. And I would love to see this network grow and get big and have, hundreds of full-time repeaters connected at all times, 24/7, or even partially, it don't matter. So, or just carry us during nets and that's it. I mean, it don't matter. There are huge benefits to a network like this, and it really helps people like us to, have enjoyment, to have some enjoyment in the hobby, rather than being chased away by idiots. And another benefit is that if there's any idiots that want to come to our network and and give us a hard time, well, we could very easily boot them off and prevent them from connecting. And by the way, one of these days we need to share each other our server connection route information. That way, if there's a problem, we can connect to each other's nodes and deal with it. Especially if there's a homophobic, transphobic idiot connecting to all of our connection points and giving us a hard time, then we could just boot the idiot off of each other's systems and silence them. Yeah, there were a few homophobes that I had to throw out of the network. So, yeah. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. Victor Echo 2, Tango Oscar Juliet. I'll send it over to you. Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
VE2 Tango Oscar Juliet, Tonya in Quebec. I am so freaking mad. Pissed off out of my mind. I have been personally targeted by my co-workers and some ex-employer. We are talking about turfing. Socially retarded monkeys from very conservative culture. I'm not talking about immigrants, but newcoming people that lives in Quebec since decades. They performed a cyber attack, a turf, homophobe, whatever you want to call it. It was a FK and a freaking ham radio cyber attack, and that was so abusive and illegal. As I said, they targeted my Debian bridge more than twice, and now they did target a cyber attack against Pride Network. the Greek. I know two of them personally. And guys, you have been warned once. One more time, and that'll trigger a legal process into courthouse and the FCC from Canada, which is called Science in. Okay, timer. FCC, Science, Innovation, Development Canada. They rule and they manage all kind of radio spectrum activity. And if I complain to them, that's not gonna be good for that business that hired me and that co-worker that lives not far from my place, maybe 70 miles away. So you guys, socially retarded monkeys, you quit that right now and never attempt such thing anymore. This is a new world order. We are here, we are queer. And this is evolution, human evolution. Just a different way to express who we really are. We're not in the closet anymore, and you're not gonna hold us in there. We are fighting back, pushing back, and get out of our way. Never attempt such thing. Never, ever, ever. As I said, this is the new world order. There is dysphoria and euphoria. I'm losing my word now because I'm so mad. Freaking really mad about what happened last week. Oh my freaking gosh. That was so abusive. I'm gonna hit the timeout timer several times to make myself clear to those people who did such things. We are not gonna allow this to happen anymore, and never, ever, ever. Freaking never, ever. Do not attempt that one more time. Yeah, V2 Tango called Juliet, abusing the timeout timer and the network, targeting a message to turfing people, retarded monkeys. No tolerate such action, never, ever. Okay, that being said, I'm gonna rest in my dream this night, feeling better. Oh, fuck. That being said, mic back to Kimberly, Net Control. I'm glad to have you guys, y'all, whoever you are. I don't even remember most of your call sign right now, but it's coming. More we talk, more we know each other, I'm gonna remember your name. If I see you guys, y'all, whoever you are, on my Discord, that'll help me to remember your pronouns, your gender, queerness, and your name eventually. So whoever hates me, go fuck yourself. This is Tonya V2 Tango Scout Juliet. Overthinking, so mad. In my little Out of town, countryside, village. I'm done. Like, back to whoever wants the mic.
This is Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar, your net control station, returning. First of all, we ask that all ham radio operators on the network to please refrain from using any sort of foul language. It is against the regulations and is also against the rules of our network. So we ask that everybody please refrain from using any sort of foul language, cuss words, and whatnot. Well, that being said, yeah, I understand your frustration, and it sucks that a group of people is after you, but well, yeah, hopefully that situation will be resolved, and yeah, what else was I gonna yeah, I did probe into the network, and I did not see any signs of any kind of denial of service attacks to the network. So there was no denial of service attack to the network that I could see. So hopefully that would put you at ease some. But if there was, then we have, if there was any denial of service attacks, then there are measures in place to filter that out. But anyways, well, hopefully you will, hopefully you'll be able to sleep well, and I wish you a good night. 7-3 to you, and all the numbers, and yeah, we look forward to hearing you again on the net. Anyways, we're at the bottom of the list, so we're gonna make one more call for check-ins. Do we have anybody else out there wishing to check in to the net at this time? Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar. I'll be standing by.
The X from Sydney, Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee, saying today.
All right, Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee, just the voice I want to hear. But before I toss it to you, was there anybody else out there wishing to check in at this time? All right, hearing nothing. Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee. We'll toss it to you. Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar. Awesome hearing you out there, Jared. The mic is yours.
I'm going to keep it really short because I'm just outside on a quick break now, but I have been listening for a little while, at least when I could. But it has been mostly quiet, and then occasionally get a flurry of activity. I am here at the Sydney Cricket Ground for the Multicultural Cricket Cup, which is like a, well, it's a club cricket charity kind of event. Essentially, it gives a chance for you know, people who never normally get to play at a massive stadium like this, or you know, fairly big stadium like this, 44,000 seater. Yeah, gives them a chance to play somewhere different on a famous cricket ground. So it's mostly for that. I'm the only venue tech on site today looking after sound and vision, but yeah, there's not too much to do on that front, and then there is a heap to do, and then there's nothing to do. So that's been the story of my day so far. 8 a.m. start, and it wasn't an unexpected one, but you know, it's a lovely day here in Sydney, so I'm happy to be here. Other than that, last night I worked the soccer next door to where I am now, and the night before I worked at roller derby at the other venue on the other side of where I am now. So I've had a hat trick, or a threesome, whatever you want to call it, along Driver Avenue here in Moore Park, Sydney, where the entertainment quarter is. There's 3 venues, the arena, the oval, and the rectangular, all in 3 days. So yeah, that's my hat trick, or threesome if you prefer. That's everything from me. I think I'll be listening for a bit longer, and yeah, good to hear everybody. Hope you're having fun in Sydney, Tony. I will see what I can do in the next day or two to cross paths if you're still about. Other than that, back to you, KJ7OMO. This is VK2WAY.
VK2WAY, KJ7OMO returning. Good hearing you again, and you're coming in pretty good through the VK2RLT repeater. Alright, VK3JED, over to you, KJ7OMO.
Yeah, okay, and g'day, Jared. And, I'd have to call it a hat trick since you're at the SCG. Hat trick seems the most appropriate expression at the cricket ground, in my book. And, yeah, you've just scored yourself a DQ. What's a DQ? Disqualification, of course, because you've really jumped the gun. I'm not going to be in Sydney for another 2.5 weeks. I get up there on the 8th of March, 8th of March, and I'm there till I leave Sydney on the 14th, with competition on the 10th, 11th and 12th of March at the Olympic Stadium out at Homebush. So, yeah, as I said, you jumped the gun. I won't be there till after all the World Pride has settled down. But, yeah, I will be there. But, so, yeah, I'm not there yet. But, yeah, stick around, keep in touch, and hopefully we can catch up. But it looks like I'll be hanging out in the burbs for the most part when I'm up there, so that'll be good. And yeah, it's been a good day, quite a bit of deep, meaningful stuff, and a bit of advocacy for each other. You know, we're the most diverse of the diverse community. It's a really great lot of people to be here, and I certainly enjoy this net. And another thing you managed to do, Jared, you managed to catch me for the last time in, it's looking like 2nd of April will be my next Pride net, unless I manage to make a cameo between events from the phone, because the next 4 Sundays are all tied up, or is it? Yeah, 5 Sundays actually. The next 5 Sundays are all tied up. Anyway, KJ. Timing or what? I've done it again. KJ7OMO with the group VK3JD and very crocodile-infested waters radio-wise.
VK3JED, KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, copy that. Yeah, watch out for them crocs and alligators. They infest the waters of Radioland, and And they'll bite you, you know, without you even knowing it. They're sneaky like that. They're good at ambushing you. All right. We'll toss it back over to VK2WAYKJ7OMO.
On the group, VK2WAY returning. Was it me you called? I think it was, so I'll talk anyway. I did say I was going to make it quick. I'm back in the stadium now. Might be able to hear some background noise. I'm going to head back up to my station up on level 7, so I'll be in a lift shortly. But yeah, I might run for now, but I'll be listening for a bit longer. Yeah, Tony, sorry, I did think it was closer to now, but it's obviously the other side of World Pride, so a lot on the plate right now, but that does mean I've got more chance of catching you, which is good. Other than that, yeah, 73 for now, I'll be listening, and yeah, thank you for hosting the net. Simply KJ7 Ormo, VK2 WAY.
Alright, Jared, well, thanks for stopping by, and 7-3 to you. Always good to have you around, as always. And we look forward to hearing you again on the air. Alright, we're at the bottom of the list, so we're going to make a final call for check-ins. This is the final call, because there will be no more calls for check-ins for this week. So, final call. Is there anybody else out there wishing to check in at this time? Wishing to check in to the Worldwide Pride Net, also known as the Pride Radio Group Net? All I need are your call signs slowly, twice, and phonetically. And if you wish, you may give us your pronouns as well. This is Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, she, her, and we'll be standing by for more check-ins. Let's see if we can quickly add a few more folks to the list. Alright, do we have anybody else out there wishing to check in? This is the final call. Alright, one last time. Do we have anybody else out there wishing to check in? This is the absolute final time. Alrighty, there are no more check-ins out there, so we're gonna toss it back to Tony, VK3JED, one last time for a final, because I'm shutting this net down. Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
Yeah, well, to keep the sporting analogies going, you could say I've carried the bat through the innings. As the opener at the start, and yeah, they've all come and gone, and I'm still here at the end of the innings, so yeah, just a bit more keep the cricket theme going a bit, as opposed to the other cricket that we heard just before, and the tumbleweeds I can see on Discord as well. Yeah, it looks like the net's pretty well over. As I said, it's probably going to be something like 6 weeks before I manage to get back on the net again, unless I get a break between events and a cameo. Probably Sydney, there may be a chance. On the week I'm in Sydney for a cameo appearance. If I've got enough phone battery, that'll be the consideration there. other weeks. It'll depend on scheduling. I think next week, the week after, 2 weeks' time, there may be an opportunity as well. I do have a large gap between events that happens to fall on net time, so a cameo appearance is possible once I've recovered from an 800-metre handicap, that is. Anyway, we will continue in Discord in the meantime, and if you're still listening, Jared, looking forward to getting up there, and I hope we do get to meet. Although, as I said, it'll probably have to be out in the burbs. Details to be forthcoming as I know my situation, but I'm not staying in the city this time. I have in the past, but not for this trip. Anyway, cheers all. Have a good night. KJ7RMO, VK3JD. Listening for any finals myself.
Alrighty, Tony. Well, that was a fun net indeed, and quite enjoyable. Thanks as always for hanging out with us, and 7-3 to you, and best of luck to you with your competitions, and we look forward to hearing you next time you're able to get on, and hearing stories about your competitions there, and all that fun stuff. 7-3 once again. And folks, I'm going to call this a wrap. I would like to thank all of you for participating and having fun on this net. I also would like to thank the Waverley Amateur Radio Society in Sydney for allowing us to carry this net, as well as two awesome people for helping to get this network and net going. They are VK3JED and VK2WAY. And we also like to give a special thanks to the Pride Radio Group for making, for giving their blessing to having this net and the network. Without all those folks, none of this would be possible. So a big shout out to all of them. I now return all frequencies, repeaters, and other systems back to their abnormal abuse. I mean, normal amateur radio use. Hi. 7-3 to everybody from Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar. This net is now closed. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total check-ins, including yours truly. Have a good night or day, everybody, whatever time it is for you. Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar. I'll be off to the side, monitoring.
Wait. I deserve the last PTT to apologize for my offensive comments, non-conforming, offensive words. This is V2 Tango Oscar Juliet. After a cold, icy, extinguishing shower, I still feel the flame on my skin. But I truly apologize going against the ham radio community rules concerning offending words, and that's not gonna happen anymore. Yeah, this is it. I repeat, I truly apologize, but this is nothing compared to what happened last week. Please, forgive me, and have a nice week, good night for whatever the clock is where you live. And yeah, I'm done. Victor Lecotou, Tango Oscar Juliet, Tonya. Bye there.
Alright, not a problem. It happens to the best of us. But yeah, do be careful, because you could lose your license over saying certain words over the radio, and we hate to see you lose your license over that. But yeah, no worries, it happens, and yeah, we look forward to hearing you again on the next net. Anyways, my voice is getting really strained, and I need to give it a rest for a while, so I'm gonna say my 7-3s, and yeah, we'll catch y'all next time. Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.
Hugs and kiss. Bye.
And for those of you who are on the YouTube stream, thanks for watching and hanging out with us and all that stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll see you on the next one. 7-3 to everybody from Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar Mike Oscar.